Welcome to episode 27 of How About Them Huskies. I'm Connor, joined with Matt, Andrew, and Matt, and a very special guest, Isaiah Whaley. Zay, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be on with you guys.
Yeah, we thank you for coming. As some of you may know, if you watch our live streams, Zay was supposed to be on, but something came up. He couldn't join us. But we're going to get you some Isaiah Whaley content like you all want. So he's here today. We're going to ask him a few questions, just catch up with him. And I think I'll just get right into it here. The first one, how's your G League experience been with the Swarm so far this season?
It's been cool. It's been fun. It's a lot different than college. It's I mean it's exhausting. Like our schedule, like back to back games. You play the same team literally back to back, and it's just like every other day you're in the airport. Every other day you living out a suitcase for a while, and it's just like it's exhausting. But it's fun though because you get a lot more freedom to do what you want to do, and you don't got to worry about school. It's just literally just basketball, try to get better, and you working on yourself basically. So it's a blessing, especially I get to be close to home, and I get to play with somebody I used to play with in college and book night. So just the whole experience been cool for me, and I don't know, it's been cool. I mean, I like it. Some people it's a lot to deal with, especially with just how exhausting it is. But I don't know. I mean, it's a lot. I like it. I don't know if I like it more than college. I like the whole college experience is just something it's kind of hard to like match, but just the freedom is I like the freedom of the G League, the professional.
You mentioned close
So
to home. You're from Gastonia, North Carolina. I checked it's between an hour, 2 hours away. Does that add to the like how cool it is seeing you're playing pretty much for your hometown squad?
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a blessing for my rookie year, well, my first year to be able to be close to home, and then have my family be my family system to pull up to the games because they never really got to come to any UConn games like that. So for them to be able to come to games, and whenever I'm going through a tough stretch, I could be able to like go back home and reset. That's always good for me and stuff. So I feel like for my first year, this being close to home is a real blessing.
Yeah, and you talk about being busy. It's like very strenuous schedule. Would you say that would be the biggest difference between college and the G League, or would you say that there are many of other differences and that's just the biggest one?
Yeah, like the schedule is way more open and free. Like you're done with your day usually around like 12:45, 1 o'clock, and then you got the rest of the day to do whatever. And in college, it's like literally every single part of your schedule is like filled up with something. Like I don't know, people always get this like notion that like being a college athlete just like it's so cool, but it's like it's exhausting though because like literally like we're busy every like literally hour of the day, and once we finally get back to the room, it's like 6:30 or 7. And it's like, and then for freshmen, the freshman year is the hardest year because they put you in like study halls, so you don't get back to your apartment till like late night, and then you finally get back to the apartment. You got to eat, you got to shower, and then once you do all that, like you don't really have any free time. You just going to sleep basically, or trying to sneak in something that you can do extra or something. So, colleges being a college athlete is like exhausting, but it's fun though because you get the atmosphere, you get the college experience and all that. But the professional, like the free time you get as a professional is just so it's dangerous. I feel like it's a little dangerous a little bit because you have so much free time, you don't know what to do with it, and you're just like I gotta find something. Like you just so some people it's hard for them. They don't know what to do with the free time. So I'm trying to find new hobbies and stuff to fill in that free time.
Yeah, we had that exact same conversation with Ty Polly yesterday about how much more free time he has now that he's a pro as opposed to a student athlete. And I just have another question. You talked about it earlier a little bit, playing with James. Just how's that been? How's been playing with James Booknight? Because you guys kind of go back to the college days.
Yeah, it's been an experience. It's always cool to see James, and especially to see how much he's grown since I've seen him in college. He's changed a little bit. He's matured a lot, and it's cool seeing how much he's grown, and it's crazy. He's younger than me, but I asked him about like the NBA lifestyle and how he's been adjusting, and it's cool to just see somebody that you've seen like develop, like you play with for 2 years, and you see how much they've grown, and so that's a real cool thing. And then I'm just seeing like you know watching him try to get through a tough stretch and seeing him try to get himself together, and we're helping each other out and stuff. So I mean, I feel like that's really cool to be able to play with something with the college with. And then it's funny that I know played against Christian Vital against like at least like five times, and it's always like cool to run into him. And he's one of the most he's one of the most hardworking people that I've ever known. So it's always good to see my fellow like UConn Husky teammates. And I haven't got to play Reese yet, but I hope I get to play him soon. So
Does being on the floor with James make you feel like maybe you could come into your own game a little bit better? Does it make you feel like, maybe you're at the more top of your game rather than when he's off the court?
yeah, like whenever we're on the court together, it's always like good chemistry. Like we know exactly how to play with each other, literally on offense and defense. He knows during the pick and roll coverage with me and him, and he knows exactly what I want to do and how we can get have an advantage on defenders on defense and offense. I know exactly how he wants the ball. I know if I get the ball, I know he likes the back cut a lot. If I had a ball, and I know exactly. I know literally all his tendency on offense, and he knows what I'm good on offense. So it's always good to have somebody on the court that knows exactly your tendencies and stuff. So we make each other better whenever we're on the court together at the same time.
I think now we'll shift to some more UConn centered questions now, and I have one here for you. You played 138 games over 5 seasons. That's a lot of games. Can you narrow
Man,
it down to one that was your favorite?
man, I got so many like favorites. I got a couple. My first my first one was Memphis when we played against Precious. That's when a cook went down, and it was just like when he went down, it was like a awkward I don't know, everything was like sad, and like everybody you could just feel like the building like emotions like just like sink and like just but like but we all came together, and that was like actually like my breakout game where I was able like to show coach that I could actually help the team out, and that's when we rallied together and pulled that win out. So that's one of my favorite games. And the Houston Senior Day, well, when Christian Vital we played Houston at home, the Senior Day game. That was actually a really fun game to be a part of too. So probably and of course the Auburn game from last year. That was actually like really fun game to be a part of. So probably those three.
I just want to ask a quick question. You were talking about the Memphis game against Precious. I
Yeah.
remember back when Precious was being recruited, now that this is all said and done, it seemed like it was Memphis or UConn. I don't know. Were you guys thinking about that? Was that talked about at all? What,
Oh,
what
that
was the
was
thought on that?
yeah, that was definitely discussed. You can and like the coaches really wanted like the win that game because it was definitely talked about, and it was talked about how Precious was supposed to come to UConn, and in the back of my mind, I didn't really care. I mean, I was like, hey, I mean, he was at UConn, I probably wouldn't have been here anyway. So I mean, but at the same time, like yeah, if I get an opportunity, I want to show everybody that I'm better than Precious. Like I want to show that like I'm the right person that we don't need Precious basically. So that was my mindset going to that game. If I was like if I'm get the opportunity, I'm gonna show that we don't really need Precious. And but everybody else, it was like man, Precious supposed to be here. Precious supposed to come to UConn. He gotta get revenge game. Like, you got payback. So it was like all right, well let's go do it then. So everybody had an extra gear to him, and that's when a cook was really hyped for that game, and it was just bad that he went down with that Achilles injury. So he was actually having a really good start to that game too. So, but yeah, everybody was really hyped for that game because it was like, okay, you chose them over us. All right, so that was a fun game.
So you saw the clip of me asking Ty Pauly who was the funniest guy he played with at UConn was, and he said it was you. And then we had RJ say it was Tyrese, and then Adama said that it was Tyrese and a Cook. So now we got to know from you, who's the funniest guy you ever played with?
I have, I got three people. I got three, but I got one that's the funniest. All right, the funniest person I probably have to say is Josh Carlton. But there's some other people like Quentin Williams was actually hilarious. Uh, Quentin Williams hilarious, and Christian Foxen walk on hilarious, and actually Coach Son Andrew Hurley. That's my guy. If y'all ever got to talk, if you ever get to talk to him, when he's actually hilarious. But I'll probably say Josh Carlton, but Quentin Williams is probably a close second. You gotta remember, I played at UConn 5 years, so it's
Yeah.
a lot of a lot of people that so it's a lot of people that I got to encounter and talk, have good moments with. But and Tyrese, yeah, of course, Tyrese is a popular one because he's hilarious, and he's just. I'm surprised nobody really said James, because James is actually like one of the funniest people to be around. Even to this day, he's just random. You really never know what you're gonna get with him. He's just a wild card, literally. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Ty was talking about how James is really funny, but only if he knows you.
yeah. If he don't really know you like that, he's gonna be like quiet. But if he know you, he's just gonna he's just type to just say the most random things, and just on and off the court, he just random. You never know what he's gonna say or what he's gonna do. So
See, that's expected. But Josh, I'm really surprised that I think RJ said Josh too, because in all the games I watched him play, I don't know if I saw Josh smile once on the court. It's interesting to hear that you guys say that he's one of the funniest.
that's the act. That's the whole act by him. Him trying to be serious, like he's trying to like paint this little serious persona on the court, mad for serious persona, but he's like one of the goofiest people that you could ever like meet. So that's a mask.
That's funny. Him and Hurley are definitely on our bucket list to talk to. And of course, we'd have to ask them the same question. It seems like it's becoming a common theme here. We're just going to ask every guest we have.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a teammate, but the funniest person in the whole UConn organization is definitely Dan Hurley by
Yes,
far.
sir.
So yeah, by far.
Yeah, I just got another question. Like, what do you miss about UConn? Is there anything like you really miss about UConn? And if so, what exactly is it?
Just the brotherhood, really, like, just I don't know, just especially after a tough game or a tough stretch of games or something, man. Just like being able to go back to your teammates and just talk it out and be able to still laugh and have a good time, because even now, like if you losing at UConn, it's literally the worst feeling ever as the like player. Like if the fans they can feel bad, just to like imagine how it feels to actually be the player. Like it's like one of the worst feelings. So, but being able to like lean on your teammates and still be able to have a good time and laugh and have those moments and go out together and maybe go out to a party or go out to dinner together. Just those moments are always the times that I really miss the most, because those moments I made lifetime friends like from UConn. All my best closest friends are from the basketball team, so that's probably what I miss most about UConn.
You talk about the brotherhood that comes with it. You were recruited not by Dan Hurley. You were recruited by Kevin Ollie. I'm just gonna stop. Ask you a quick question first. What was that like? How was it being recruited by Kevin Ollie? And I mean, did you have any second thoughts when Danny was coming in?
Being recruited by Kevin Ollie, it was interesting because off gate, like it was just like it was like a he was it was more about like he wanted to build like a family like type of relationship. So that was cool and all that. So when I committed to him, I already knew it was he was kind of on the hot seat, but I was kind of, I don't know. I didn't really know the full situation I was going to be. And so with that, when Coach Hurley came in, he kind of embodied and reminded me about like my high school coach, like that tense, crazy like coach that's like in your face, and those type of coaches that I like. I love to go to war for, and I love like all his principles. So I was like, I knew he knew nothing about me. Like he probably never heard of me, and like he probably didn't probably wished I actually probably did transfer at first. And so I was like, you know what? I felt like in my head, I was like, I feel like I'm exactly the player that I'm an exact player that he like would want, but he don't really know that I'm that player. So in my head, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just keep working to show him that I'm the type of player that he that he needs. Because I feel like I was the exact player that he was always talking about. Like he always like, yeah, I need a tough player that's gonna do all this. In the back of my mind, I'm that. I'm all right. I'm that type of player. So um at first, the first year was like really rough. It was like, man, I was like, man, I just want an opportunity to show them like I don't suck. But I'm like, I just want an opportunity. But I'm gonna just sit back, keep working, keep my head down. I ain't gonna never complain. Not gonna ever be a distraction. My main goal is like I don't want to be a distraction. I don't want to be like I don't want to be moping on the bench. I want to keep on cheering, but I want to be keeping my head down, keep working. And then first year, I was just like, man, like let me just get like at least 2 minutes, and I couldn't really go on the court until like the last game where I got in like during the conference tournament, and I got in. I think I had like 8 points or something. It was like, okay, well, you can do a little something. And then the next year, junior year, I was like, okay, this is. I worked super hard the off season. I was like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be the year right here, junior year. All right, let's go. And then halfway through the season, did it touch the court? I'm like, oh, man, and so I started having doubts. I'm like, man, I should have transferred, man. I like, you know what? I think after this year, I was like, yeah, after this year, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and transfer. So like, I already had it planned in my head. After the junior year, I was like, you know what? I did all I could. And he just didn't see that I was, good enough yet. So I was like, I'm gonna just transfer. And then the injuries happened, and I was like, all right, well, now I don't got no excuse now. So, and then that's how that happened. But it just came down for me just putting my head down and just not making excuses, just working really. So, yeah.
It's funny how you say, at first it doesn't even seem like Danny knew really much about you. And then by the time you were leaving, you almost seemed like the face of the Dan Hurley culture for a little while, being the wrench and all. Do you feel like you really benefited from him coming in and like just adding to your mental toughness, adding to your physical toughness with his coaching style?
Oh yeah, by far. I definitely think I do. Even during the pre-draft process, like all the NBA coaches and stuff, and they asked me like, do you regret like not transferring and try to get like, I guess maybe try to be like a marquee star player somewhere else or something like that, and I always give them the same answer. I would just say no, because those tough times and though that period where I had to just grind my way up to the top basically, and I guess prove myself, that actually made me stronger mentally, because I didn't break mentally, and I just kept going. So um I don't know, I take a lot of pride in that, basically just knowing that I didn't give up. I just kept on going. So I take a lot of pride in that, and that made me and his relationship a lot stronger even now to this day, because he saw that I was willing to put in the work, and I ain't like fold basically. So even to this day, he'll text me out in that, like if I have a good game in the G League, he'll text me like, let's go wrench or stuff like that, the whole coaching staff. So like I still have a good, real close relationship with all those guys. And yeah, I mean, I wish I would have been able to come over to go to the Seton Hall game. I really wanted to go to that, but things came up. But I'm gonna be around those guys a lot this summer though.
And speaking of the coaching staff, was there something specific that either Danny or guys like Kamani, Luke Murray, Tom Moore, something that they said or taught you that you really took into your pro career?
Um, it's crazy because Coach Murray, he's a newer coach, but his first year, it was just he came in and he was just basically just telling me like he like just be confident, like just he like man, he like you're a way better basketball player than you even give yourself credit for. Like you've like you worked your way back up to being a like a really predominant like college basketball player, but you're still like just cracking the surface and you're a lot better than like you still a lot better than like than what you showed. Like you could do a lot more. And Coach Murray just came as soon as he came in, he was just telling me about confidence. And Coach Moore, he's one of the coaches. He just even the whole time I was at the bench, he was always the coach like telling me like just keep on working, like just don't stop working, just keep on believing in yourself, keep working. And so him and Kamani, those guys just really just kept me like motivated and kept me like having hope and just kept on going basically. So all those coaches, they're really like good with just keeping like the players' heads up and stuff.
Yeah, they really seem like they really want to set you guys up for success, not even just at this level currently, but at the next level too. It's great to hear that.
Yeah, they definitely care about us off the court. All the books that we read as a team and all the people that they bring in, like they don't bring in people just to talk about basketball. They sometimes they bring in people to talk about financial stuff and like how to finance and make businesses and stuff to invest in stuff. And so it's like they actually care about what you do after you're done with basketball. And even the coaches, they basically tell me like, after basketball, like they even help me out if I ever wanted to even think about pursuing coaching. They'll be in my corner helping me out. So they actually really care about whatever you do outside of basketball as well. So that's why it's like a brotherhood and family, UConn.
Yeah, and I feel like I understand what you're trying to say about, confidence is a big part of it. You see a lot of top 50, top 100 recruits who, they'll come into a big program and, it doesn't necessarily work out. Uh, and I can say that, I mean, you've seen that at UConn a few times, not where they haven't worked out, but I would just say over the past 5 years where players weren't put into a position right away that maybe they'd like to be in. I feel like James is one of them. He had a slow start to that year, and then there was like a suspension, and then he wasn't getting the minutes, even though he was being productive in those minutes. He didn't see the minutes. Another one, I would say this year, even though we weren't going to be sure of his role, Alex Caravan, uh, he wasn't supposed to be starting. I wasn't sure what if his role would have been off the bench, but an injury slotted him to the starting lineup. So I mean, I do think you're right, and it seems like they do a great job of keeping your heads up and keeping you guys motivated. I just want to know if you would agree with that.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I can even see like watching the games. I can see if someone's like down in a cell, I can tell like the coaches are really like pushing those guys to keep their heads up and stuff. And it's not even just the coaches, like the whole like with the managers and then the coaches assist like everybody in that whole thing, the walk-ons that everybody do a good job of lifting each other up, man. It's a cool thing, and that's what it comes down to, confidence, really. Like a lot of people are. It's a lot of skilled players, but like you said, like confidence really, like you know, determines whether or not you're gonna really be successful or not. And if your confidence starts to waver, that's when things start to go down real fast. So I don't know. I feel like always having that reset whenever in that good like circle around you that can help you keep your confidence up is going to be big. And yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned the team this year a little bit. I want to know your thoughts. Obviously, they started the year 14-0, made it all the way to number 2, went on a little slide. Now they're coming back. What are your thoughts on the guys this year?
Um, I'm proud of those guys. To be honest, I'm one of the biggest fans. I'm always trying to watch every single game. Even me and Danya Marshall, we talking during the game to each other. During halftime, he'll look at the UConn score. He'll talk to me like, "Yo, Zay, we're down 6 or something." And I'm like, "What?" And so we're just like, it's always fun. Like it's a whole family brotherhood. We always talk about UConn, but I'm proud of those guys. Really, I mean, they'll get all the way to number two. That was crazy. So I don't know. I never like it was always hard. It's kind of hard for me to be like I relate to what they're going through, or basically like you get to number two in the country because I never got to number two, and I didn't start falling games, and like I already know, all right, because that's one thing I can relate to them with. Is like when you start losing games, and then the fans start losing confidence in you, and then everybody start. It's like everything's going downhill and everything. But I'm proud with how they like rebounded and how they like got back to their identity basically, because it seemed like they was starting to lose what helped them get to number two in the country. And I'm happy that they started to do that. And I mean, I'm happy that a lot of the guys are starting getting their confidence back. Like Andre was out with an injury, and you could tell he was trying to get himself back together, and he even had a couple stretches of games where like you could tell his confidence was kind of down. And I've been in those situations where a team might play you a certain way, and then your confidence, you're down yourself. But I'm glad to start seeing that he's starting to figure it out and get his confidence back up. And all those guys are starting to figure it out. So I'm proud of those guys.
And I mentioned earlier, I'll switch topics a little bit here. You played 5 seasons. You had that extra year of eligibility with COVID. You chose to take it. What was the thought process like for that? Was there any doubts? Was it an easy decision? Like, how was that?
Oh, it was a lot of doubts. I was in my head. I was already set to just. I was already set for just going. I was just going to try to just go overseas or something and just try to. I was wanting to go pro. I was wanting to just be done with college. I was like, yeah, I'm done. And so yeah, in my head, I was set to be done like the whole year. Like I was like, you know what, I'm done. This is my last year. I'm gonna have a good year. I had a good year. I think I got defensive player of the year. Like, you know what, I'm gonna go overseas, try to make some money and stuff like that. But coach, we had a good talk, and and then it was like COVID and stuff. So a lot of the jobs overseas, it was like iffy and stuff and all that stuff. And it was basically like if you come back and you do have a better year, you can even make even more opportunities for yourself. So I was like, you know what? I mean, you're right. So let's go. Let's try it again, basically. And then I started recruiting Tyler. I was like, all right, Tyler, I'm coming back. All right, I need you to come back with me. He's like, I don't know, man. I had to convince him to come. Like, come on, man, don't leave me by myself. And so he's like, all right. And so Tyler came back with me, but I can't say it was an easy decision, but it was to go to another school was never something I was thinking about. I couldn't even imagine myself going to another school. That would be it would just be defeat the purpose of everything that I built at UConn, helped build at UConn. So yeah, but it was a hard decision, but I'm glad I made that decision though.
Oh, I got an interesting one for you. You said you're UConn through and through, which we love that you are, but we gotta know who would your all-time starting five for just UConn be?
Uh, Kemba, Ray Allen, Richard, yeah, Richard Hamilton, Emeka, Roddy. That's four.
This is the tough one. Center's the tough one.
That is a tough one. I'm
And
gonna do Hashim.
the V, okay. I
I'm
like
gonna do
that
Hashim.
one. That's a starting five that goes, I mean, all over the place.
Yeah.
In 90s and up to the 2000s and even 2011 with Kemba.
hmm
It's a good starting five, though. That's a damn good starting five.
Yeah, that's hard to beat. Got Hashim with the, what I'm saying? That's a hard start for to beat.
Yeah,
I
people forget about Hashim at UConn. I mean, they only think about the Memphis Grizzlies, but he was a
Yeah.
dog back in the day.
Yeah, they forget.
was.
That's an underrated pick. I was probably the first person to say that. So yeah.
I think that'll just about do it here. If you guys don't have any more questions, I have one real quick before we go. We're filming this Sunday night NBA All-Star game. I realize the teams haven't been picked, at least to our knowledge, as we're doing this podcast. But who do you got, Team Giannis or Team LeBron?
Team LeBron is like 6-0 so far. So you know what? I love an underdog story. I love a good underdog story. So I'm gonna go Team Giannis.
Yeah, I love to hear it. Like I said, we don't know the rosters as of now, but we'll go
Yeah,
Team Giannis. I'm with you on that one.
I just have a feeling LeBron probably still gonna get the better roster.
All right, and I think that'll just about do it here. Episode 27. Isaiah, thanks for coming on. It was a blast. I appreciate you doing this after fell through yesterday, but you're welcome back anytime. I know you mentioned maybe you and Ty coming on together at some point, so maybe you can look forward to that. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and for the viewers, thank you for watching. A big game coming up this week against Providence. I'm not sure if I'll have a preview of that or not, but it's going to be a big one. Senior night at Gamble. Zay knows what they're going to do about senior nights. He had two of them. So
Yeah.
big game there. Maybe you'll see a preview from us, but if not, definitely a big recap. And yeah, thanks for watching.